Hello, everybody. It is Sunday, February 23rd, 2025. Welcome to episode 107 of the Old Mage MTG podcast with your co-hosts, Old Mage Steve and Old Mage Alex. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we're going to talk about the price of cardboard, more specifically, the price of pre-modern cardboard. But first, I have a favor to ask of you. You're here already. Since you're here, why don't you just subscribe to our YouTube channel or give us a subscribe on whatever, not give us a subscribe, give us a follow on whatever podcast app you use. You can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. If you follow us on Spotify, you can leave a review, 5 stars only. Yes, technically you could select 1 star or 2 star or 3 star or 4 star, but why would you do that to us? We didn't do anything wrong to you. If you don't like the show, just don't bother with the stars, man. But if you're gonna leave a review, leave a 5 star. Second, if you hear about any cards that we talk about today that you'd like to add to your Magic collection, consider making your next purchase on tcgplayer.com. You can purchase those cards from TCG Player using our affiliate link, which you can find in the episode description below. If after listening to the show, you grow to despise us and you refuse to give us even a single cent of your hard-earned money, then use the TCG Player link of FPaloo's MTG. That's what I do when I buy my cards from tcgplayer.com. Just use somebody's. Use somebody's affiliate link. Before we get into the main topic of today's episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's been happening in our MTG lives, Alex, since last episode. Alex, I asked you. You said not a goddamn thing.
Nothing.
It's not entirely true. We are working on a Griffin brew, but that's going to be a future episode. I did have something really small that I wanted to talk about. I'm on the record on this show, Alex, stating many times that I'm a never foiler. That I ain't gonna buy no fucking foils. I don't want my cardboard shiny, but I broke down, Alex, and I actually bought a foil. So I can't call myself a never foiler any longer. I did have some foils in my collection. I acquired them against my will. They just happened to be in a collector's booster pack that we bought when the Lord of the Rings set came out. I bought 2 packs. You know, they put foils in this shit these days. So I found myself holding foils. I didn't mean to, but I couldn't do anything about it. They came in the booster. I also had a foil copy of, what is it, Swiftfoot boots, I think, because I ordered a card from TCG Player a couple years ago now, and somebody just gave me a free foil Swiftfoot boots. Again, against my will. I didn't ask for it. It just showed up. I opened the mail. I went like this. I shook out the cards and a foil came out. I went, ah! I didn't ask for this.
It
I don't
touched
want
me.
this. It was curled. But, you know, I was at a local card shop the other day and I was digging through their bin and I found this Exalted Angel. I knew about these and I just totally forgot about them. But then I saw one in person and I thought to myself, this ain't so bad, really. And it's only 50 cents. So I am now the proud owner of a foil that I actually purchased with my own hard-earned money. An Exalted Angel 30th anniversary promo. They're quite nice. It's fairly flat. It does have a little bit of a bend to it, but it's nothing that I can't work out just by stacking some books on it. They're only 50 cents. I don't know why the prices aren't showing up here, really. Oh, foil, 50 cents foil. The MTG stocks, it has no line for it. No price information, really. But if you do go to TCG Player, they're available for 50 cents. That's what I picked it up for at the LGS. I think this is actually a pretty good buy.
Yeah, I like the picture too on that. That's pretty cool.
The picture's nice, and the foiling actually looks really good in person. Uh, the art is originally from, I think, from the Vault Angels printing that they
Oh, okay.
did, I don't know how many years ago. So this was the original printing of this art back in 2015, maybe it looks like 2013 or 2015. And then they reprinted the Exalted Angel with this art and in foil for one of the recent 30th anniversary promo cards.
Well, that's cool. And I like how it has the older style border. I don't like when they put that like year date stamp at the bottom of the art. It's a little weird, but other than that, yeah, it's pretty cool.
This one, yeah, it's a little bit unusual, but I understand why they did it. I don't remember all the details about these 30th anniversary printings, but I think what they did is they chose, maybe it was just one card. If not just one card, it was just a couple. I think it was just one card. I think it was one card for every year of the first 30 years of
Oh,
Magic's history, and they reprinted it as part of this
I
30th
see. Yeah.
anniversary set. So this date, yeah, indicates the Exalted Angel was the card that was chosen from the year 2002 for this set. And then I haven't done this yet, but I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to place it my next buy next month. I came across this other printing of Exalted Angel. It is a Judge promo. It is also a foil. It's one of these DCI Judge promos. I've never been drawn to any of the Judge promos. They're usually more expensive, significantly more expensive than the regular printings, but I saw this printing of Exalted Angel and I quite like it. And I don't think it's a terrible price for this right now. They're going for like 35 bucks on the market. Considering the Onslaught Exalted Angels aren't really too cheap any longer, I don't think this is bad at all. And I might actually
Right.
pick this up as my second foil. We
Oh,
shall see. We shall see. What
you
do you
could
think
have
of this
four
one, Alex?
different foil types of Exalted Angels eventually. You get a Japanese one.
I don't know if I'll ever get into those. Those tend to go, I'm not up at all on the foreign language market, but it does seem like when people post like their super blinged out decks, they're usually a foreign language foil. I think most often the Japanese foils, at least from this era.
Some people really like those. Yeah.
Yeah, they go for a lot, don't they?
I think so.
I think so too. I don't know. But this might be my second foil. And then yeah, I might have to collect all of the foil exalted angels. We'll see. That's how this shit happens with Magic the Gathering collecting. You get one thing, and then you're like, oh,
Yep.
I need a playset of this thing now, and then you need something else to complement it, and it never ends. But that's what's been going on in my MTG life since
That's good. That's interesting.
last episode, Alex. I'm now buying foils.
Buying what?
Foils.
Oh, foils.
I didn't want to say it too loud because I'm embarrassed because I've
Your
stated
Boots foil might be worth a couple dollars here, man. Do you know which set it's from?
no, actually, but I did think that I did think these like spiked up in price recently.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
There's a lot of printings,
there are
and
a
they
ton
vary
of
a little
printings.
bit, but
Which one were you looking at?
like if you just click on the Magic 2012, it says the foil's $6.
Magic 2012. I don't even see that one. I see Commander,
Maybe it's
Commander,
Commander
Commander.
2012. No, I think it's just the Magic set, the main set from 2012. I don't know. Uh,
Anyways, I'll move on from that. Even looking at this list of Swiftfoot Boots printings, I don't really see anything more than just a couple dollars. So it can't be worth that much. But it was
no,
given
but
to me
for a
for
free
free.
card,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a $2 card is good for a free card. Usually people don't send you $2 cards for free when you order something from them from TCG Player. You usually get like a 10 center.
Yeah.
But anyways, now Alex, I want to move on to segment one. This is the main segment of the show. In segment one is all about the price of Premodern. So I want to start this by saying you and I, we play mostly Premodern, the Premodern format. And I was first drawn to this format when we came back to Magic in like 2022, late 2021, for several reasons. One was the card pool was of interest to me. Somebody who I'd been out of Magic for a very long time, quit in the late 90s, came back in the 2020s. Premodern consisted of uh, cards from 4th edition to Scourge So about half the sets that were legal in pre-modern were familiar to me. I remembered them from my childhood, from our high school days. So there was some familiar gameplay there, something easy for me to jump back into. I didn't have to learn about planeswalkers. I didn't have to learn about sagas. There's a ton of shit that I didn't need to learn about that I didn't really have time or the desire to learn about. But since we quit like in the late 90s, about half the cards in pre-modern were new to me. So there was some novelty there. There was still some excitement about learning about new things that I wasn't already familiar with. So it was a good mix of familiar gameplay and novelty. It was a non-rotating community-driven format. Back when we played, I was never a competitive player. You were never really a competitive player. The competitive Type 1 decks were really unaffordable to us. We couldn't build something that would be likely to take down a big tournament. We didn't have all the Power 9 cards. And the Type 2 decks, which were more affordable, were always rotating, which was something that was very frustrating to me as a kid, because then you always had to keep cracking new packs. You had to keep buying new sets. You had to constantly be buying the new cards and brewing with the new tech if you actually wanted to compete
Yeah.
at the
I
tournament
mean,
level.
like you're going to open packs anyways, really, especially back then when it was like the primary way to get cards. Uh, so, some of that's to be expected, but what I didn't like about it was the fact that, like, once the format moves on, now you have this deck that you built up out of good cards from the set, probably spent some money on in
Yeah,
addition to opening packs, and now it's just like an obsolete deck that's like, doesn't really fit into Type 1 and is out of Type 2 now. You know what I mean? I don't want to like put that much into a deck that would like not be in a format after a bit.
exactly. I always opened some packs, but I was not a person who bought like an entire box or
Yeah.
collected an entire set as soon as it came out. And I didn't even really buy enough cards to build a completely legal Type 2 deck
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
the one I had rotated out. So what I'm trying to get at. That's my point, really, that you spent money on a deck, it was obsolete. You had to spend money on a new deck, which became
Yeah.
obsolete. I kind of stand that. So I like the fact that pre-modern, like some other community formats, are non-rotating. So you can build some decks in that format, and you can set them aside for 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years. If you decide to pick it up later again, bring it somewhere, play it, it's still legal. And
Yeah.
it's probably to some degree still relevant. I mean, we see a lot of churn in pre-modern. We see a lot of deck development and innovation in pre-modern, but some of that is just, some basic deck types being improved upon. So making substitutions, some small additions that make the deck more competitive.
And
You,
reactions to what's popular at the moment. But yeah, it's like as long as you're not playing against, you know, top tournament decks, like your deck will still be good enough. You know what I mean? Like if you made a decent deck, like
you don't have to toss it all out
yeah.
and pay for 60 brand new cards for your deck. And then I like the fact that it was affordable. There were no motherfucking dual lands, so that was a huge a factor that drew me to the format. I first thought I would start playing some old school. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, I can't afford Power 9, but I don't care about that. I never had it back in the day. And I could still make fun old school decks that I liked without Power 9. But I can't even dual lands instead of being $5 or $500 now. So I couldn't even make like the basic two-color decks that I wanted to make without shelling out a couple grand. And that pissed me off, to be honest. Uh, so then I found Premodern. I was like, this is fantastic. I just need to buy Pain Land. I didn't really know about fetch lands at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
still, you don't need to buy fetch land
Well, and as
necessarily.
soon
And
as you start to look at the pre-modern card pool, you start to see lots of other, suboptimal lands that can produce
all
different
sorts of
colored mana.
things.
So
All
there's some
sorts of
stuff out there.
yeah. There's Pain Lands, there's Gemstone Mine, there's Undiscovered Paradise, there's the
Hmm.
Layer Lands. There's all sorts
And
of
those are
ways
good.
you
Yeah.
can build a multicolored deck. And you don't have to drop $500 on a single dual land to do so. So I
Hmm.
really like that. And there are plenty of affordable decks to build. I will say if you're interested in finding affordable decks in the pre-modern format, the best resource that I've found is this Introduction to Pre-Modern by Phil Wynn. You can find it at http://www.premodern.guide. And in this guide, I mean, there's all sorts of great information in here, but in this guide is an appendix that tells you how to get started in pre-modern on a budget. And I just want to highlight this one little bit here. There are roughly, like, they're approaching 15 tier 1 to 2 decks that you could build for under $250 each.
Cool.
It includes many classic archetypes like Dead Gael, White Weenie, Stasis, Burn, Goblin, The Rock. All of these things can be built on a budget. So I really like the affordability of the format in general. You can build yourself a whole little battle box to play with you and your friends for well under the price of the dual lands you would need to play a three-colored old school deck. You know what I'm saying, Alex?
I know what you're saying.
So yeah, there are some reserve list rares, of course, because pre-modern covers sets that were still printed in that reserve list era. And these rares, I mean, they can break the bank. They get pricey. Mox Diamond, Survival of the Fittest, Sarah's Sanctum, City of Traders, but you don't need those for most decks, to be honest. In addition to that, pre-modern is a pretty proxy friendly format, so you can always proxy. But I started looking at some things the other day, Alex. Actually, not the other day, but like a couple weeks ago. I was just on MTG stocks. I started looking up the prices of some pre-modern staples that I already have some play sets for, but I'm trying to build a bunch of different decks. And some of these cards I wanted to pick up multiple play sets up because I get sick of you know, swapping them between decks. And I thought to myself, when I first bought these cards, they were pretty cheap. Let me just get like 2, 3 play sets of them, so I don't have to take them out of one deck, put them into another when I want to play a different deck. I noticed that some of the staple cards that I bought playsets of just a couple years ago for cheap are now not so cheap. And that made me wonder, is pre-modern becoming less affordable? I started to go through a list of these staples, and now I want to take a look at some of these staples with you, Alex, with you. The first one I want to highlight is Call of the Herd. Call of the Herd is a rare from Odyssey. It's 2 colorless, 1 green sorcery. You can put a 3/3 green elephant token into play. It also has flashback, 3 colorless, and 1 green. So I think this card was really big when Odyssey was first printed. I wasn't playing at the time, but I've heard people talk about this as a chase rare. I think it was maybe selling for around $20 or something, according to some of the stories I've heard people tell
Huh.
when it was first printed. When I started playing pre-modern, this was very cheap. I picked them up in 2022 for about $1. And the current market price is $8.48. So this has shot up quite a bit. A lot of people are playing mono green or different variants of red green. Some people are actually just putting this on an occasion in their burn deck. They're taking their mono red burn deck, splashing in Call of the Herd. And a lot of people are running it. It's become very, very popular once again. This has caused the price to go up. So this is one such staple that I found that I was picking up for $1, sometimes for 50 cents. That's now approaching $10. Luckily, and this is something we're going to see over and over again. Luckily, a lot of these pre-modern staples are being reprinted. Sometimes people criticize Wizards of the Coast for being you know, money hungry. They print things into the ground, and that destroys the value of people's cards, gets them upset. But they take a look at the market and they see what people are interested in, and they tried to
Yeah,
deliver the cardboard to the people.
I think so too. I mean, you got to print something. They have to print something, right?
You got to print something. And they must have noticed, I think they noticed this wave of nostalgia for some of these old cards, these old formats that were growing pre-modern and middle school. And they printed a remastered set called Dominaria Remastered. This was probably like a year and a half ago now. Can't remember exactly when it was printed. But Call of the Herd was printed in Dominaria Remastered. So I will say, if you want to play Call of the Herd, if you want a bunch of copies of Call of the Herd for the 15 different green pre-modern decks you're building, like I am, you can't get the Odyssey copies for 50 cents or a dollar anymore, but you can pick up the Dominaria Remastered copies for 10 cents. So while my beloved Call of the Herd pre-modern staple has almost 10x in price from where it was when I first bought it, I can still get some just play sets even cheaper than I bought them 2 years ago, just by going to the Dominator
Yeah.
remastered print.
And I need to make use of that too because I have not picked up Call of the Herds yet, I don't think.
Perfect, Alex. This is just the episode for you. I'm going to talk to you about several pre-modern staples that were actually reprinted in Dominator Remaster and Modern
And
Horizons
some of
3.
them I do not have.
You can get super cheap. And you'll see this, like the old frames are going up because I mean pre-modern is a nostalgic format. So I think a lot of people like me,
Yeah, oh yeah.
they want that old frame.
I do, but I'll settle for, you know, the newer one at least temporarily while I, you know,
Exactly.
slowly build up my collection or whatever.
Just get your play sets to go out with your buddies, play some cards, pick up the 10-cent copies, and then slowly build your collection that you want to really put in sleeves,
And
sit
then in the
sit in a
meantime, some of
box.
these cards might drop more, you know, like they might go back down. So,
That definitely happens. Yeah. Happens all the time. So that was the first staple that I noticed that had gone up quite a bit since the first time I bought it, Call of the Herd. Next is another card, green card, Terravor. It's a creature, Lurgoyf. It's a one colorless, two green. Star Trample, Terravor's power and toughness are each equal to the number of land cards in all graveyards. In 2022, I bought my first copy of Terravor for like between $2 and $3. And I thought to myself, I really love this card, but I had so many things I wanted to pick up. I wasn't picking up play sets of things all at once. I was like, I'm going to get one of this, one of this, one of that, one of that. And then over the years, I was going to get my second copy, third copy, blah, blah, blah. Certain cards like Terravor, I got my first copy for like $2, and then they 5x, 6x out of the blue. Terravor became insanely popular in pre-modern. There were some decks that we've talked about on the podcast before, decks that all the podcasts are talking about: red, green, oath, oathing out huge fat Terravors. Some people play the mono green variant. I originally, since I don't know how to build like super competitive decks, I just do like the most boring, most basic things. I originally was putting in decks where I'm just like thermokarsting your lands,
hmm.
very slowly building the Terravor up to a 4/4 or 5/5 trampler
Yeah, yeah.
when I could have just been using Oath of Druids or something. But red, green, oath, oath, Terravor, Terravor Panza has become one of the most dominant decks in the pre-modern format. And with that increased dominance of the deck, we've seen the price of Terravor just rise up. Rise up above $10, Alex.
And
It was
I didn't
two to
grab
three
any
dollars.
because I'm a contrarian. So I saw that, you know, this deck was popular and a lot of people were playing Terravor. And I was like, well, I want to do something different, you know? So instead of buying Terravors when they were a couple dollars, I decided to do other things.
Well, Alex, I got some good news for you. If you want to just play Terravor, if you don't need to collect the original printing of the card and put it in a sleeve and then put it in a box that once every 6 months you open, and then you look at and then you fondle and you stroke and you think about how much you love Magic the Gathering and how beautiful your collection is. If you just want to play the goddamn game, Guess what was reprinted in Dominaria Remastered?
Terravor.
Terravor. It's exactly right, Alex. And it has a current market price of 21 cents.
Not bad.
So yes, the beautiful old frame Terravor is now over $10, but you can still get this ugly looking piece of shit that still gets the job done for just 21 cents.
And you know what?
It's
I'm
actually
gonna go
not an
out on a
ugly
limb
looking.
here,
What'd you
stick my
say?
neck out,
Okay.
but I bet they'll reprint this possibly with a new art, right, Steve? I feel like this is begging to be reprinted with a new art, borderless, extended, something.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Even an old border treatment would be nice. And I called this an ugly piece of shit. That's not true. I don't always like the new border, but the Dominaria Remastered cards look pretty nice, actually, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. It's nothing
And
wrong.
I tend to like the green modern frame cards a little bit more than a lot of the other colors too. Sometimes I'll look at some modern frame sets and the green frame usually looks nicer to me than a lot of the other colors.
I understand.
So the Dominaria Master Table ain't bad at all. Not ain't bad at all.
But I have a gut feeling. I have a gut feeling we're going to see a new art Terravor come out eventually,
Okay.
soon.
How many? Oh, so I was gonna say how many years?
I don't know. I don't
That
know.
that's like saying the market's gonna crash.
Yeah, I
You
know. I
know,
know. That was a vague statement. Uh, but I mean, in the near future, I could see it being like higher on the list of things they might reprint. And, since it only has one art version of it ever, they might do a new art.
before the end of 2026.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
Don't write it down.
I just wrote it down.
Damn it.
But don't worry,
Was it
I just wrote
pencil
it
or
down.
pen?
I mean, it's on pen, but it's just in this
Ah,
piece of paper. I will lose this piece of paper. It'll end up in the trash in like a
okay.
couple months, actually. I'm sure before the end of 2026. Alex. Next card. Next pre-modern staple that I was picking up for cheap just 2 years ago, really. Goblin Sharpshooter.
Hmm. Very good.
I, I said picking up for cheap, not exactly cheap, but a lot cheaper than it is now.
What was it, 10 or 15? It was $15 or $10 or something,
I
right?
got it for just under $10. I bought my first copy
Yeah.
back in 2022. Goblin Sharpshooter is rare from Onslaught, 2 colors, 1 red. Creature Goblin, it's 1/1. It doesn't untap during your untap step, which is terrible. However, whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from play, you can untap the Sharpshooter. Okay, well, how often is a creature going to end up in the graveyard? Well, let me tell you about what the Sharpshooter does, Alex. You can tap the Sharpshooter and it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So you can actually use this creature as a Timmy that taps and then untaps every time it mows down a 1/1 on your
A
opponent's side
triple
of the
tap and
battlefield.
Timmy.
Triple tap and Timmy.
Yeah.
The first time I read this card, it just didn't register to me that it worked like that, even though it should, because if you read the card, you could understand the card. And also, the goblin has a Gatling gun. Really, so you imagine him mowing stuff down, right?
That's on flavor. Yeah, yeah. I
The first
didn't know
time I
about, what other cards this could interact with really, for sure. I mean, I could tell it was good, but uh and I also wasn't like chomping at the bit to build a goblin deck, so I have not grabbed any.
I was chomping at the bit to build a goblin deck, which is why I
Or
grabbed two pretty early on when we started playing. And now I don't run them in my goblin deck, which would be too smart. That would just be too good. I run them in my Varchild's War Riders deck.
yeah.
So, you're getting 7/1/1 tokens from my Varchild's War Riders, but if I have my Goblin Sharpshooter out, I just go pop, 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 and run them
Devastating.
off the board. Now, what if you kill the Goblin Sharpshooter? Then I'm fucked. I've fucked myself by giving you so many 1/1 survivor tokens. But if I
You
can
have other
keep this
stuff too,
sharp,
though. You have other
I have
stuff.
other stuff to do. Other also dumb stuff, but sometimes it works and then it's exciting. But back in 2022, I bought my first copy for under 10 bucks. Current market price of $26.36. I see where's the end game for the Goblin
Look at the
Sharpshooter?
chart. It's just chunking up
It's
to the right.
chunking up. It looks like The Nvidia price chart,
Yeah.
basically.
Uh-huh.
How much has Nvidia gone up over the last, like if you had bought it 4 years ago?
I mean, it was under $20, I think.
It's more than 10x because it did a split too. Never
Yeah,
mind.
it's split.
So Goblin Sharpshooter has not gone up as much as Nvidia since 2022. But you could have doubled your money. Back in 2019, you could have 5x your money. Is this a terrible card to invest in now? Probably. It's not reserve list. So I suspect they're going to reprint this at some point. Why do I say that? Because it's a pre-modern staple that just keeps going up and up and up in price. And there's only one other printing of this card so far. I'm wrong. There's
Yeah.
three other printings of this card, but it's been a while. I was going to say if you didn't want to spend $26.36 on the Onslaught original printing, you can pick up this World Championship deck version for a market price of like $15 right now. Current market price $15. Goblin Sharpshooter from Wolfgang Etter's 2003 World Championship deck. It was also reprinted in Commander 2013. And then there was a Secret Layer printing of it, which I've seen this Goblin Secret Layer before. I'm not a huge fan.
You know what though? I think I
You,
dislike the other one even more.
oh my God, Alex, what are you talking about? Well,
Hold up.
is it because you don't like the gold border?
No,
Or do
no,
you just not like this?
no, not that one.
Oh, okay.
Go to the other one.
The Commander? Oh, okay.
That
The
one.
world is it the World Championship deck?
The Commander. I don't like the
The
Commander
Commander
one.
one. I don't either. Uh, I'm just not a huge fan of the style of that Goblin Secret Lair. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It looks like it's from a video game potentially. I'm not familiar with the artist who did it.
Yeah, it's sort of like cell shaded kind of looking and like
Yes,
fractal, not fractal, like I don't know,
very blocky. Very
geometric. Yeah.
yes, that's a better word. It's a better way to describe the style.
But this is weird. It's like the dude looks like he's from Alliances or something, and the goblin's like gonna hit him on the head with a hammer, with a
And
hammer
this
gun.
that's what it looks like. This is not cheap. I'm actually surprised this one is going for
Oh wow. Yeah.
$21.64 right now, current market price. It's it's really mind-blowing to me that the price of this is almost the same as the market price for the Onslaught original.
Yeah.
Maybe there are some people that are more people than we realize that are drawn to this particular art.
Weird.
But yes, is it a mallet gun? I'm not sure how the goblin is supposed to mow down an army of enemies with this. The original, it
I think
made perfect
every
sense.
time he shoots it, like the hammer drops, but then it like cocks back up if he killed the person. So it's like, oh,
But then
oh.
you have to be closer
Yeah,
with the
yeah, you
hammer
do.
then. I
That's
don't
why it's
see
only
that.
one damage.
Unrealistic. But anyways, Goblin Sharpshooter, it's just steady up and to the right. So I think it's time for a Goblin Sharpshooter reprinting, to be honest. If you're listening, Mark Rosewater, if you're listening, people at Wizards of the Coast, Chris Cox, CEO of Hasbro, you care about money.
If he's watching,
The the people want Goblin Sharpshooter.
I think we'll see
Reprint
it
the
again.
reprint the damn thing.
And I
It's
think it
been
lends itself again to like a great artwork. There's a lot of things you could do with the art for that, I feel like. You'd have a cool
yeah,
goblin archer.
it's been over a decade this time.
It could have been a Lord of the Rings card. Heck,
That would have been cool. Next pre-modern staple that I noticed that's a lot more expensive than it was when I first bought it back in 2022. Exalted Angel. This is a card that I love. We've already talked about this card on this episode so far. My first ever foil purchase was a 30th anniversary Exalted Angel. I think my first ever DCI Judge promo is going to be a foil Exalted Angel. I also have a playset of the Onslaught Exalted Angels. 4 colors, 2 white, 4/5 flyer. Whenever it deals damage, you gain that much life. You could play it for its morph cost of 3. And then you can morph it for 2 colors and 2 white. I saw this card. One of the first decks I wanted to build in Premodern was just a mono white deck with a bunch of big fat angels. And I wanted to play, what are they called? Pearl medallions. I can't remember the Tempest medallion in white. Is it a Pearl
Okay,
medallion? That sounds right.
maybe.
Just to help me cast these big fat angels and some mana
Yeah, Pearl
stones, mana
Medallion.
rocks. Never ended up building that deck, but because I was thinking about building that deck, I bought a bunch of different, big bodied angels to potentially run in it. I bought my first copies in 2022 for about $5. Current market price of $16.32. It's over $15 now. I was just really surprised when I looked this card up the other day. I didn't think this card would get to about $15. It's a great creature, but it's not often that you just see like a big, powerful creature get this high in price. You know what I'm saying? It's usually some kind of
Yeah.
crazy spell. But now, if you want the original Exalted Angel, it's $15. Luckily, as I've already mentioned before in the show, if you don't want to spend that much money, there are many different options for you to get cheaper Exalted Angels. There's some World Championship deck reprints that you can get for about $2 to $3 still. And I actually think the white cards with the gold World Championship border look
Oh,
quite nice.
they do, yeah.
So this is a good option here. It also just looks good with the color of the art on the angel itself. It looks
Uh-huh.
quite nice.
By the way, the original printing near mint right now, cheapest copy is $34.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's nuts. If that's too rich for your blood, though, you can get this 30th anniversary edition foil Exalted Angel for just 50 cents. Yes, it's foil. I don't like foils for the most part, but I like this foil enough that I bought it, and a lot of other people love foils. This is significantly cheaper than the Exalted Angel from Onslaught right now. So again, the trend continues, right? We have a pre-modern staple, original printing, just going up in price every goddamn month for the last 3 years. But we got a reprint that people can still pick up if you just want to put together a deck, play with your buddies. I started looking up some other white staples, and I typed in this card that I also bought. This was another card.
Justice of Justice.
I don't know why I'm writing Justice of Justice. Decree of Justice. This is another card that I bought from my Big White Angels deck that I never ended up building. But it's also just a great finisher and control decks of various types in Premodern. It is 2 colorless, 2 white, X, X. Put X for white angel creature tokens with flying into play. This is. I'm now remembering more about what I wanted to build in mono white. It was going to be a Tron deck too. So Tron lands and medallions to help me cast big fat angels and
Ah,
huge decrees of justice.
that
Now,
seems
smart,
fun.
fun for a Timmy like me, I guess.
Yeah.
Smart deck builders, they don't even really use decree of justice very often to put out angels. I see this card played a lot in
More for the cycling.
blue-white control decks with a lot of creature removal, a lot of counter magic, man lands, and then Decree of Justice is cycled for 1/1 white soldier creature tokens, which in combination with the man lands and all the control spells that they have is usually enough to finish their opponent. So yeah, but yeah, I'm just like, let me create lots of mana, put out 16 4/4 white angel creature tokens. You could do that, or you could cycle it for 2 colors and 1 white. When you cycle Decree of Justice, you may pay X colors. If you do, put X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens into play. Very nice card. A card that I bought for like $1 or less
Dang.
back when I first started buying. And now all of a sudden, out of the blue, very quietly in the background, I wasn't paying attention. It's almost a $10 card now. Current market price is $8.77. Alex, do you have any Decree of Justices?
No, not that I know of.
Well, let me tell you something important. If you don't have $40 to drop on a playset of Decree of Justice from
I don't.
Scourge, have a look at these Modern Horizons 3 reprints. So this is another set that Wizards
Huh.
printed about a year and a half ago that had a lot of reprints
Not
of
even, I don't think. It was
pre-modern
less than a year ago,
staples.
right?
I don't know. I don't even
Pretty recent.
understand time any longer. I don't know what
Yeah,
I
I
do. I
know.
don't know. The days just go by. Everything's blended together. But what I do know is Modern Horizons 3 was reprinted at some point between January 1st, 2022 and February 23rd, 2025. And you can pick these up for under 10 cents. So they're cheap as hell.
June
I might
14th, Modern Horizons 3.
June 14th
Yeah,
of 2024.
yeah.
Okay. Less than a year ago. Super cheap. Super cheap. This one has a Judge promo too. Oh, Alex, now I'm going to be buying full Judge promos.
There was
This one,
one that I really wanted, and I can't remember what it was. A
this one
while
looks
back, I
pretty.
was looking at a Judge promo that I liked.
This one looks pretty sick to be honest.
That's pretty cool. Oh, I think I know what it was. It was Balance, I think,
Really? Balance.
which
I don't
I
have a
think I
nice
ended up
copy of
just not
Balance.
buying because it's not legal in any formats.
I've been thinking about buying like a nice balance, like an unlimited balance or something,
Yeah,
because
check out the Judge promo.
I might want to convert my mono white, my mono green, old school deck into mono white. I mean, sorry, that wouldn't make any sense. My mono green old school deck into green white, not because that's necessarily the best color to pair with green, but because Savannas are the cheapest dual lands to
Oh
buy.
yeah, hey, that's
And I'm like, at least I can put in Swords to Plowshares. And I'm like, what else can I put in? Maybe a balance. Now, that's sometimes that seems like it might be pretty rough with mono green because what you want to do with mono green and old school a lot of time is just play out a bunch as many creatures as you can.
you're gonna go faster, yeah.
So you're balancing, you're going to kill all your creatures, but I don't know. Sometimes it
Well,
has to be
green
done.
allows you to do stuff like, rely on your manimals and not have a lot of land. You know what I mean? Uh,
And empty your hand. So I thought, situation there might be some situations where it'd be
yeah,
good. Yes, I'm going to lose more creatures, but my opponent will probably have to discard more cards. And then, like you said, maybe probably destroy more lands. Balance is also artifacts too, right? No.
lands,
Lands,
creatures, and hands.
creatures,
Cards in hand.
cards in hand, not artifacts. Anyways, you wanted, I'm thinking about getting a nice balance. Oh, yeah, you did point this one out to me before.
Yeah, I like the art on it. It's
It's
not outrageously expensive.
It is not outrageously expensive, and it is pretty sick. $17.39 current market price. It's definitely not at an all-time high. Yeah, I like that one. God damn it. Am I going to be a Judge promo guy now? Do people, I mean, I wonder how often they sell. Do people really collect these or are they just,
Oh yeah, there's definitely people that like them for sure.
it's just sick.
It
It's
depends on the
Kev.
card too. Some of them are very expensive. I think certain Judge promos were probably like given out in higher numbers than others.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the Judge promo market. I'd have to learn more about it. Which ones are truly, truly rare?
Right.
Are there like 10 million copies of all these Judge promos that are just sitting in a Wizards of the Coast warehouse or
Oh,
Hasbro
that's
warehouse
another thing
somewhere?
too. Yeah. How many did they just not hand out?
And then whoever owns the horde of Summer Magic, they're one day they're going to get their hands on the Judge promo horde.
Hmm.
Start slowly trickling them out on eBay. Crater the price of my Judge promo Exalted Angel and my Judge promo Balance and my Judge promo Decree of Justice, which I now need to buy. But that's Decree of Justice. And then we have a couple other cards that have really, I mean, these cards were important cards back in the day when they were first printed, as evidenced by their inclusion in various World Championship decks. But they've come into prominence once again
Yes.
in the current pre-modern meta. Some of these parallax cards from Nemesis.
Everyone's parallaxing left and right.
It's crazy.
Hmm.
And it's got to end at some point. I hope it doesn't end with a ban. I don't think it's going to end with a ban. I hope people just move on
Yeah.
and just get tired of playing them. Or people come up with an effective enough way to combat them. But the first one I wanted to mention is Parallax Wave. It is an enchantment from Nemesis, 2 colorless, 2 white, has fading 5. Remove a fade counter from Parallax Wave. Remove target creature from the game. When Parallax Wave leaves play, each player returns to play all cards he or she owns removed from the game with Parallax Wave. So they're pretty interesting control cards, these
Hmm.
Parallax cards. They're control cards with limitations. You know, you temporarily remove these resources from your opponent's battlefield or your opponent's hand.
But very strong
And
for a couple of turns.
very strong for a couple of turns. And they can really be exploited in formats like Premodern where you also have Stifle. So like there's a lot to learn about the Parallax cards, but I think one of the most obvious things people are doing that are making them so powerful is they're stifling this return to play uh or return to play trigger. So you cast the Parallax card, you stifle the return to play trigger, and then they never get the shit back. And it's devastating. It's devastating, Alex. Parallax Wave was a card that was available for $3 back in 2022. You know, people knew it was good, but just wasn't getting a ton of play in this format. And now its current market price is $22.59. I swear I just wrote these notes the other day and I wrote $17.58. So people must have
Look at
picked
the
up
giant vertical spike right at the end of the graph.
so just yesterday, people have continued their Parallax Wave buyout. And now the current market price is $22.59. These cards, they can't become like $100 cards. Right? I mean, they
I mean, I
again,
don't know, dude. Replenish is $100 card.
but Replenish is reserve list.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I don't know why I picked Replenish, by the way. I was just like,
Well, it's another, I mean, it's a great card. It's big and white control style
yeah,
decks.
I thought it was a fair enough
Yeah,
comparison. I don't know. What I'm wondering
it was
is,
decent.
what's Opalescence doing
Not
along with?
much. Shh, Alex.
Oh,
I need to buy it. Because that's the next card I've been looking at for like months, and I'm like, I can't get one. I don't want to get one now. I don't have anything I want to do with it right now, and I just keep worrying that it's going to be $50 next time I look at it, and it hasn't been going up yet. But it seems like it could easily be next in line for people just to start buying up like
yeah,
crazy.
this says $30 right now.
Fucking shit.
Yeah, and again, I avoided these. Like I knew some people were playing parallax cards and opalescences, and I was like, I don't. This deck idea doesn't seem like as fun to me. I kind of don't want to do that. I want to do something different. I should have just like bought a couple of them to have.
It just hasn't been my style, so I haven't been
Mm.
focusing on these type of cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
But $22.59, I will say that, like I mentioned, you know, these are cards that made appearances in World Championship decks. You can get these right now in the World Championship version with the gold border, which I tend to like with white cards, for a current market price of $3.59. But as you can see from this giant spike, people are targeting this too. They're targeting the World Championship deck printings too.
Pointy.
I don't know what number these were printed, so you know what happens a lot of times when we see these giant spikes in MTG stock is it shoots up like this five X's on this chart because somebody over the course of a week just clears out all of the moderate play to near mint copies from TCG Player. And it looks like the card is just 10x in price, but then over the next month, more copies get printed. I
Yeah.
mean, sorry, more copies get posted, and then it becomes
Off topic,
available.
I saw some people saying there was a revised Shivan Dragon buyout recently.
I was gonna text you about that. There definitely was. Okay, so since you mentioned it, Parallax Wave, $20 now. Hurry up and get your World Championship copies for $3 to $4 before this son of a bitch buys up every single copy in existence. But if they do, it's not a reserve list card. So I feel like this is also something the Parallax cards could very well be targeted by Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro for reprints in the next reprint set they put out there to make the MTG boomers happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These could be reprinted. Now, brief detour. Alex, I also saw this. I don't know why, just the other day, but the revised Shivan Dragon said it was like $80 or something. And this is a fake. This is fake news. This cannot last. There are too many copies of revised Shivan Dragon floating around. So
Yeah.
this just means that somebody bought all of the ones posted on TCG Player this past weekend, but more will appear. Please, please don't buy a Shivan Dragon for like $50.
Yeah, people have tried this. I think we've like seen this in real time happen several times. Like they've targeted this card specifically, and then it just like drops back down because there's not enough play demand for it, right?
One day though, it's gonna stick, and that guy,
Yeah.
it could be just one guy who's very rich, and every year he could just buy up all the copies of Shivan Dragon available on
Yeah.
every website.
Because it is an iconic card, so you know.
Eventually, if he does this for like the next 30 years, eventually he will have all the copies of Shivan Dragon. And there is actually a guy that I saw on a YouTube channel once, many years ago. This is before I actually started playing again. I don't remember how I came across this video, but I believe he was based in Hawaii and he was a Shivan Dragon collector and he was showing off his Shivan Dragon collection. And he had whole binders full of just revised edition copies of Shivan Dragon. Like just multiple binders. This is what I think I remember seeing. In addition to that, of course, he had like a huge number of unlimited, beta, he had alpha, he had graded Shivans. Like he went ham on the Shivans. He had a Shivan Dragon collection that was probably, I mean, it might be more expensive than some houses people live in. So this could be the guy in Hawaii. He could have unlimited funds for Shivan Dragon. He could have enough money to actually one day collect all the Shivan Dragons. How many do you have, Alex?
One, I think.
Okay, I think I have one too. So I don't know, guy, if you're out there, hit me up in like 15 years. I'll have the one copy you don't have yet. And I'll part ways with it. You know, I'll have other things I need to do with the money. Okay, enough Shivan Dragon speculation, Alex. On to the next Parallax card. In addition to Parallax Wave, we have Parallax Tide, which is getting even more play in Premodern these days. It's a staple in the Tide Control version of the blue control deck. Tide Control, I think. Not that familiar with that deck, but it is a blue control deck, and it's called Tide Control, and this card is a blue control card called Parallax Tide, so that sounds about right to me. One day we're going to get to Tide Control decks. We're going to learn about them. But it's now being boarded into Phyrexian Dreadnought as if that deck was not enough of a bugbear. Is that the correct terminology? A bugbear?
I don't know. I don't know.
Fuck.
I know there's an expression that uses that term, but I'm only familiar with bugbears from Dungeons and Dragons.
Bugbear. Google. Legendary creature or type of hobgoblin.
Hmm.
Bugbear, an imaginary goblin or specter used to excite fear or an object or source of dread. So yes,
Okay.
Phyrexian Dreadnought is a bugbear
All right.
of the pre-modern format. I
So it's
crushed it.
kind of like a boogeyman, kind of,
Exactly. And
but like like grounded in reality. Like
I was
a
gonna say boogeyman, but then I thought to myself, no, I like the word bugbear better. And then I thought, is it boogie bear? Is it Bugman? Who knows? Let me just go with Bugbear and we'll
Boogie
see
Bear
what
sounds sweet.
happens.
That sounds like a bear on like a boogie board. Some sunglasses.
It would be a sick villain in a Simpsons episode. Two colorless, two blue. Enchantment, fading 5. This is Parallax Tide. Remove a fade counter from Parallax Tide. Remove target land from the game. When Parallax Tide leaves play, each player returns to play all cards he or she owns removed from the game with Parallax Tide. So this was a card people played before, like I mentioned, in Tide control decks and blue control decks and pre-modern. But then this past LobsterCon, the Premodern Championship got taken down by a mono blue Phyrexian Dreadnought deck that ran Parallax Tide in the sideboard, I believe. And then the same deck took down the LobsterCon side event, Parallax Tide in the sideboard. Combined with the Phyrexian Dreadnought deck, nobody could beat it.
Hmm.
Now everybody wants to own the card. You can pick it up for $3 in 2022 and now has a current market price of $17.58. So most of this rise has happened really since LobsterCon. Here's LobsterCon, and then boom, 4x'd, and it's still on its way up. Luckily, like Parallax Wave, if you want to pick up a cheaper version of Parallax Tide, if you just want to play this card sometimes and you're like, I'm really not interested in investing almost $100 in a fucking place at a fucking Parallax Tides, what are you people doing? Buy the World Championship version. It is gold border. Current market price is $7.49. That's much higher than the current market price of $3.59 that MTG stocks were giving me just 2 days ago when I wrote these show notes. So somebody's buying this one up again. Also, not again. Also, I will also say that I have one copy of Parallax Tide, and it is this copy. It is a World Championship copy of Parallax Tide from 2000, Tom Vanderloot's deck. And I got it for 50 cents. I pulled it from a bulk bin. It was the first gold border card that I ever bought.
Oh,
And when I held it in my hands, I thought this actually looked quite nice. It really warmed me up to the World Championship deck of cards. Seeing them in person, I feel like most of the time they actually look much nicer than they look when I just look at the pictures of them on MTG Stocks or Scryfall.
hmm.
So they really are
The
quite
gold
nice.
doesn't show through, doesn't
And
come through.
in my opinion, they really are quite nice budget version. And actually, I think Ryan from Ohio has talked to us about this. The Rishadon, this is kind of off topic, but Rishadon Port, this was a really important card back in Mass Block. And it ended up in a lot of different World Championship decks. So there are 5 different World Championship deck printings
Oh,
of
okay.
Rishadon Port. And Rishadon Port from Mass has a current market price of almost $40. But the World Championship deck versions you can pick up for between like $3 and $5, depending on which printing you get, depending on whose signature is in gold on these cards. And the reason I bring this up right now is because with the art of Rishadon Port, I think the gold border actually looks quite nice.
It does, yeah.
The gold border goes better with certain art. And this is I think art that really complements really well. So anyways, that being said, the gold border Parallax Tide looks quite nice as well. According to me, and I know what I'm talking about because I've held it in this hand right here, this hand that you're looking at, this left hand. I had it in
Just
this
that one.
hand. It was cupped like this. My eyes were looking at it. The lighting was perfect. So, and I had my glasses on. So I really got a good look at the card. And I think it's worth not $7.49, but it was worth $3.59, which what it was going for just the other day. And I think probably it'll be that price again fairly soon.
I just went to look to
Hopefully.
see if there was a gold
This is
bordered
the only
version of, huh?
this
What?
is the only other printing of Parallax Tide. It's just Nemesis and then in this one World Championship deck.
Oh,
So
okay. Wow.
I would like to see some more reprints of the Parallax cards. We'll see if Wizards listens.
It's it's kind of an unusual mechanic and everything, and I don't know if they want to bring that back for certain sets, so like
That's what I'm
it might
thinking,
be tricky
actually.
to work in, but I started to look to see if there was a gold bordered version of Tower of the Magistrate because I was thinking that would look really nice, but there
That
isn't
would.
one because it's no 50.
That's a land that's also from Mercadian Max, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why the Rashadon port reminded me of that, and then I looked, but there's no gold bordered one.
Yeah, here's the thing about the parallax cards. I mean, if certain people will just keep buying them and they rise in price, there will be a point where Wizards, I feel like, from a financial perspective,
Yeah.
there will be a point where they just say we should reprint these because we can make money
Yeah,
off of
because
them.
they're $100 cards, yeah.
But definitely they are cards that they don't want to reprint. They are feel bad type of cards because they
Uh
prevent gameplay, which is why it hasn't been reprinted since Nemesis. They printed it once. It's in one World Championship deck. They have not reprinted these cards. This cards. I think the same is true with the Wave. Was the same true with Wave? Parallax Wave, also in Nemesis. We saw that it was in World Championship decks, but wasn't it printed in any other sets? Oh, they actually put Parallax Wave in the list at some point.
oh, okay.
I will say Parallax Wave is less oppressive than Parallax Tide. It is less feel bad to have just some of your creatures removed from the game,
Then your
which,
land.
I mean, this is essentially a weaker Wrath effect, you know?
Uh-huh.
They remove, well, I shouldn't say that. That's silly to say because Wrath wipes your creatures out too. But it is a one-sided Wrath effect that is temporary, unless you're also playing it with Stifle. Not as you don't want to have that done to you, but it is not as oppressive as having somebody remove all your fucking lands from the board so you can't play Magic.
Yeah.
And I say that as somebody who actually likes removing people's lands from the board. It is fun. That is a valid way to play Magic, to remove your opponent's lands.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I like to do it the old-fashioned way, though. I like to play 3 mana to Stone Rain. That's how a real man removes lands. Maybe pay 4 mana to Creeping Mold. Maybe pay 6 mana to Desert
Or
Twister.
Avalanche Riders.
Maybe pay 3 colors and 1 red to Avalanche Riders and then pay the Echo cost, or maybe not pay the Echo cost. Maybe you pay 3 mana to Pillage. Pillage is 3 mana, right?
Sounds right.
How many mana is Fissure? Maybe you pay 5 mana to Fissure. That's how a real man destroys lands,
Village is
actually.
3 mana. I forgot
Fissure
about
is,
that card.
how could you, Alex? And look, Fissure is 5 mana too. I know all the mana costs of my land destruction cards.
What
Name
about
another one.
Rays, Steve?
Ask me Choking Sands instead.
What about Choking Sand,
Three
Steve?
mana, 1 color, 2 black.
Rays is just 1 red mana.
Does it send the land back to your hand though?
No, you lose one of your lands too.
Oh, so you sack a land and they sack a land?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's how a real man plays land destruction, actually.
Seems pretty tough. Yeah. You have to be tough to do that.
I'm stalling right now because I'm creaming up my hands.
Oh, yeah.
Once I'm done creaming my hands, we'll move on to the next card. Actually, we've gotten to the point in the segment where I'm going to say to you, Alex, let me know if there's any you'd like to add. Those are the staples
Oh,
that I've been going through. I think you had some.
I'll mention something. Yeah. Oh yeah. Rotlung Reanimator I saw is going up a little bit. I noticed it because I have one and need a few more for cleric deck. Uh, but I think I got mine for 5 or something, and now it's getting up to 10.
Okay. This is a card, yeah, that it looks like it really had its spike in late 2020, when a lot of Magic was spiking, and it came down quite a bit. It probably dropped like 50%, and now it's on its way up again. Rotlung
Hmm.
Reanimator. 2 colorless, 1 black, zombie cleric, 2/2. Whenever Rotlung Reanimator or another cleric is put into a graveyard from play, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token into play. Haven't played against it. I haven't never played with this card. I haven't played against it many times, but you did uh devastate me before with a zombie cleric deck or a cleric deck maybe at some point, like a year ago. And I remember the Rotlung Reanimator being the most obnoxious card in that deck for me to play
Yeah.
against. It is quite good.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun.
And shit, there's no other printings of this card. So this is another thing that could be a potential reprint, a really solid reprint target if Wizards ever decided to put out like another remastered set
Oh
that
yeah.
had more pre-modern focus cards. And I didn't
I was
realize this
thinking
thinking,
I was thinking like buy it now before it goes up more, but maybe wait for the 50-cent copy.
well, here's you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
I can't again, Chris Cox, if you're listening, maybe reprint this, but you're probably not listening. You should be. You don't really have anything else to do. CEOs don't actually do that much.
Maybe listening from like the beach in the
I've
Caribbean, it's
I mean, Jeff Bezos is on the record multiple times stating that like CEO is the easiest job he's ever had, especially like when your company's running. Like you didn't found Hasbro, Chris Cox. You didn't found Wizards of the Coast either.
he didn't build the GI Joes from hand.
You probably just got your MBA and then you just lied to people. And then that's how you get to become CEO. And then you just go to dinners. You have more time to listen to podcasts than pretty much anybody else
On the way to
that's
dinners, on the way
employed
home from dinners.
at dinners. You don't have to, you can just shake your head because the other MBAs next to you, they're just spewing nonsense.
Yeah,
Nothing
they're
anybody
just
says
talking
in
about
gold.
themselves anyways.
You just listen to your podcast, our podcast,
Where you get business insights from us.
ideas.
And then you can
We are the
chime
market.
in between the appetizers and the main course and say, I have an idea that just came to me.
Listen, Cox, I'm giving my money to LGSs and TCG Player because I want to buy Rotlung Reanimators. And those are the only copies available to me, old copies that
Interesting.
resellers have.
Yeah.
If you want my money, you need to print new copies of Rotlung Reanimator. Am I going to buy it? No, I'm not going to, but
But
that's a
do it
real
anyways.
do it anyways. Some people might buy it. I don't want to buy the reprint. I like to buy the originals. But if
The
Rotlung
other card I was going to
Reanimator,
mention
if it
was
becomes,
Ravenous Baloth.
but I'm not done yet. I'm not done
Oh,
yet
sorry.
talking.
Keep going.
If Rotlung Reanimator gets up to $25, then I buy the reprint. But if they're below $25, then I buy the. Then maybe you can make some money off me, Cox. You listening to me?
I'll take a borderless version. That'd be cool.
That's the other thing you could do actually. Instead of just printing like standard modern frame reprints of some of these cards, like you did with a lot of the Dominator Remastered cards. And they're nice. It's nice to have a budget option. It would be more of a draw. You'd probably sell more to boomers if you made like a fancier borderless version. Even though the boomers tend to prefer the old border, some of the borderless versions do speak to me. They definitely speak to me more so, like more than the modern
Yeah.
border versions. That's Rotlung Reanimator. What's the next one, Alex?
Ravenous Baloth. A rare from what, Onslaught, I think.
Yeah.
Uh, and it was for a rare quite reasonably priced for a long time.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to this. This is a good one to bring up actually. Because yeah, this is a card that I was picking up for like 50 cents a piece back in 2022 or $1 or slightly under $1.
And now it's
And
$4. Not outrageous, but I mean, it might keep going up
yeah.
if people are using them.
Judge promo. Oh, okay. This just Judge promo does not speak to me, so I won't have
Yeah,
to be
that's not
buying
so
this
good.
Judge.
I
You can
can't
tell
even
it's
see
not.
it.
You can't see it, and that's reflected in the market price, which is about the same as the Onslaught version.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure it looks much better than this. MTG stocks, it's not the best
Yeah, in
resolution,
person it probably looks okay.
but it's not common to see a Judge promo like basically the same price as the standard printing. Also printed in Commander 2013. That same art. Dual decks. Okay, this surprised me. I didn't realize that the Baloth had gone up to like a $4 or $5 card. What about Blastoderm?
Oh, I was going to look at that and I didn't. I think it's still cheap.
Why
So I was
would
buying
Baloth?
beasts for my beast deck. and I
Yeah.
noticed that Baloth had gone up.
See, okay, Blastoderm still 30 cents. This is what I expect to see from the Baloth too. Why?
More printings for Blastoderm?
World Championship deck, World
Okay.
Championship deck, Friday night promos,
Not a whole lot more
dual
though. Just
decks. Yeah,
these are all like small printings.
not
So
really. I don't feel like Baloth gets played that much more often than Blastoderms in Premodern. Not like 10 times more often. It's
it
weird.
is a rare though. What's Blastoderm
Oh,
original?
fucking hell, Alex. I'm forgetting we're in the era already where the commons, uncommons, and rares are indicated by the color of the set symbol. So
It's a common.
there
Blastoderm
we
was a
go.
common.
Yeah, that answers the question. It's a black nemesis symbol. So Bela. Okay, that's another good example. This was a 50-cent card. This is a card that I'm sure if you go to like LGS's in your town and you start looking through their bulk bins, you'll find
Yeah.
some of these in the bulk bin because this was a 25-cent card for so many years. It's just still sitting in bulk bins places. I'm waiting for that to happen with Lightning Angel because I've pulled, but it won't because Lightning Angel is just too hard to play in a bunch of different pre-modern decks because of the three different manas. But I'm definitely pulling Lightning Angels out of bulk boxes for like 20 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents.
I would. I mean, I'd grab some.
Yeah. I would
It's
like
fun.
it if
It's
they went up to
cool.
10.
Cool
They
card.
went up to $10 one day. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Not going to, but okay, Ravenous Baloth. That's a good one. You had two others too, Alex, you wanted to mention. This is just the general talk about some prices of some pre-modern staples that we wanted to pick up. These ones, it's not really the same story as the story I've been telling with the others. Staples that were super cheap and now have like 5x, 10x in price in a relatively short period of time as the format becomes more popular. Although, remember, a lot of these you can pick up cheap reprints of. These are some, in one case, a reserve list pre-modern era card, and in another case, not a reserve list card, but a staple in specific decks, in a very powerful deck that gets a lot of play. And a staple is not reprinted very often. These are cards that I guess they were pricey when we started and have not gotten any cheaper.
Yeah.
This is also happening with some subset of pre-modern cards. We came back to Magic after the 2020 spike. We're like, oh, these things are going to come back down in price. Some of them have not come back down in price. First one you mentioned was Shallow Grave.
I'm
For a
very
long
surprised
t-
by this.
for a long time, you can see this. They were huge spikes. I don't know if these are people trying to buy out a reserve list Mirage card, or more likely, these are just period in time where in the biggest formats in Magic, some graveyard deck was the
Yeah.
dominant deck. They printed some new huge thing that people liked to bring out of the graveyard from with Shallow Grave to win the game.
Hmm.
Everybody have to pick up Shallow Graves. It would 10x. You wait a few years, it would pretty much go back down to its pre-spike price. You see this happen a lot. This went on for a decade. And then after 2020, we had a spike, brief decrease in price, and then it's just been up and to the right. People just can't get enough Shallow Grave.
Yeah. Since 2022, it's basically been going up from $25.
That is strange. Like, because it's strange. The card was always good.
Yeah, I agree. It's not like a surprise card that just, someone figured out a way to break. Um, and like I like it. I think it's a cool card. I bought one for $25 or something
So
two
did
years
I.
ago.
So did I.
But I didn't really expect it to do this, and I didn't expect to see so many people playing it. I'm not sure what they're playing it in really at the moment, but
But yeah, this is a card, just looking at the historical prices, I thought, yeah, it's a card that spikes when graveyard decks become big, it comes back down in price. I'll wait and I'll finish my play set. And it just never went lower again for the past 3 years.
yeah, now I'm thinking about selling my one copy.
Now it's at all-time highs. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. This is kind of off topic, but and you can't always, listen to this person, but Rudy, Alpha Investments, Rudy. I remember him talking sometimes about Mirage and the number of reserve list cards in the Mirage set. And how eventually one day these boxes of Mirage are going to be, high value because of the number of reserve list cards.
Mm.
And over the last few years, you've seen various Mirage reserve list cards. They do spike, but they usually come back down. Shallow Grave is not coming back down. The next one, Chris Cox, if you're listening,
And
this
this
is
isn't
one
a
you
big,
this is one you should reprint.
yeah, this isn't a big surprise to any of the listeners probably. Argothian Enchantress has been $40+ for a while, so nothing new here really. But I just wanted to bring it up because as a staple card for pre-modern, it used to be 10 or 13 bucks. Uh, and since the pandemic era spike, it has not really lost some of that value that it, pumped up to, but it's been hanging around at $40, $45 for a while now.
Yeah, it's not at all-time highs, but it's years. The whole time we've been playing pre-modern, it's just been sitting here between 40 and 50
Yeah,
bucks,
it's
and
found a new
it's not getting
floor.
cheaper. Not getting cheaper, and it's a card that's been on my list for a long time, and I thought, I'm not playing a Enchantress deck right now, so I can hold off, but now I really do want to start playing some Enchantress decks, and I don't know, I might just have to bite the bullet. And
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to drop until they reprint it.
rare from Urza's Saga. One colorless, one green, 0/1, summon Enchantress. Cannot be the target of spells or abilities. Whenever you successfully cast an enchantment spell, draw a card. It's not going to get better than this for Enchantress decks and Premodern.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the fucking card pool's closed, so we know it's not
I
going to
know.
get better.
I
And
know
it's
what you mean.
pro
There's not going to be any like surprises that people like dig up, you know.
and Enchantress is a strong deck. It's a very
Mhm.
strong deck. I mean, if you build it right, if you play it right, it always has an opportunity to take down a tournament. It's always going to be up there at the top. It's a fun deck to play
Mhm.
because you get to do stuff all the time.
People
You're
like
drawing a
drawing
lot of
cards. It's
cards.
fun to draw a whole
Fun
bunch of
drawing
cards.
cards. Yeah. Draw those cards, play those spells, put that thing on the battlefield, then you pull another one up from your deck, and you shuffle them, and then you play another one, you draw another one, you shuffle some more.
You're doing all the things.
You're doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Only reprinted an Eternal Masters and a Judge promo.
Which is
I will
$200.
I will not be buying this Judge promo. Or will I? That looks fucking sick, Alex. I won't be buying that. That does look
Looks
pretty
like
sick, though.
shiny lime green jello.
It does look sick, and it doesn't have the DCI stamp in the text box, which I like, actually. Maybe they must have changed whether or not they put that DCI stamp here in the
Yeah,
text
I'm
box
not sure
based
why
off the
some
on the,
do and don't have that.
I don't know,
Do
but
or
that
don't.
looks good. It was up to $400.
Woo.
This one's coming down. Okay, I'm gonna wait. And this is gonna eventually be $60, and then I'll buy it. No, I won't. But not many Argothian Enchantress reprints. Urza Saga, the Judge promo, and Eternal Masters. When did Eternal Masters come out? 20 teens? I don't know if that says 18 or 19.
It could
Oh,
say
I can
anything.
just I can just look right here. 26, it probably is 2016.
Yeah.
Uh Come on, Cox, reprint this. Give us an Argothian Enchantress reprint. I want a
I'll buy
$5 Enchantress.
150 booster packs if Argothian Enchantress is in them.
It sounds worth it.
Hmm.
I don't have an MBA, but it sounds worth it. I'll buy two. So that's 152 guaranteed. And then I want to say we've talked about a few reprints from these two sets. This
Uh-huh.
is this is me speaking to the potential pre-modern players who don't feel the need to buy the old frame version. If you have no problem at all with the modern frame, maybe you grew up with the modern frame, and that's what Magic cards look like to you. That's what you like the most. Dominaria Mastered and Modern Horizons 3 are rich with fantastic pre-modern reprints. So I pulled up just the pre-modern legal cards from these sets on Scryfall. This is Dominaria Remastered, 210 cards printed in that set that are legal and pre-modern.
Wow.
210. It was the set for pre-modern players. I
Wow.
honestly believe that's why they put it out. It just seemed like it so much. So I mean, there's cards that necessarily they're not played a lot in pre-modern, but they are still fun cards that you can put in pre-modern decks, like Aquamoeba, Arcanus the Omnipotent, 3 colors, 3 blue, 3/4. Legendary creature wizard, tap, draw 3 cards. That's sick. 2 colors, 2 blue, return to owner's hand. It's just a lot of mana, but sick card.
I've been wanting to try to use him. I haven't yet, but
Reprints of the Elder Dragons, which don't see playing pre-modern, but I always like to see some Elder Dragons. Some Bops, Sultan Battery, Battle Screech. It's a card that I just put into my white weenie. I'm testing one
oh, I didn't
copy of
know that
Battle
got
Screech.
reprinted in there. That's cool.
It did. Call of the Herd, Circular Logic, Cloud of Fairies, Chainer Dementia Master, Chainer's Edict, Counterspell, Alex. We got some layer lands, Croesus's Catacombs, Daragaz's Caldera, Crop Rotation, Decimate, Dromar's Cavern, Drawnus Crusade, Duress. The Tutors, they brought back the Tutors. This was a big one. Enlightened Tutor, Mystic Tutor, Worldly Tutor, all reprinted and Dominaria Remastered. That brought the prices of the original down. We had pricey cards like Exploration. This is an enchantment that's gone back. The original has gone back up to over $40. But now you can pick up this Dominaria Remastered version for what's it, 20, 15, 20, depending on what artwork you get.
Okay.
According to Scryfall, the old frame version is actually cheaper.
Oh, nice.
So I was happy about that. Exploration was a big reprint when that came out. Got cards like Flame Tome Kavu, Forgotten Ancient, Gamekeeper. These aren't super expensive or anything, but they were staples. Gemstone Mine, great land from this era. Plenty of goblins. Grim Lavamancer.
Which has been spiking also recently.
I was wondering, I looked this one up
The
because I was
old one
like,
I think is like almost $20.
is it really? Let
Maybe
me look.
maybe I'm wrong. More than 10 though. 11 to 17.
I thought it was gonna be too, and then I looked it up the other day, and it surprisingly wasn't. Like it was surprisingly affordable. But I had the memory like you that it was spiking. Oh, it
Yeah.
is okay.
This
So it
says
is, yeah.
$22 average for the Torment version, but there's a bunch of
Yeah, but
cheap
market
versions.
price is $6. Yeah. Market price is $6.07 for the Torment version. This is something that happens where the average price will be much higher than the market price.
Yeah.
It happens during these huge spikes because I think what happens is on TCG players, somebody comes in and they try to buy out a bunch of light play copies over the course of a day or two. And then I think what happens is a bunch of sellers that will have computer programs or algorithms try to set prices in response to demand will shift the prices of the remaining copies up higher. They'll reprice them, but they won't actually sell for those prices.
Yeah.
So you'll get cases like this where it's saying the average price is like $22, but the market price is only 607. That's because some of them are sitting up there for this high price of over $20, but nobody's buying them.
They have Grim Lavamancer right now actually has a pretty weird price distribution. I'm looking on
Okay.
TCG Player. There's like near mint copy for $36, and then a bunch of lightly played, a couple lightly played for like in the 20s, and then you have one near mint for 14, one near mint for $6, and two lightly played for $13.
Who's that near mint? Who posted
Yeah.
that near mint for
Black Swamp
$36?
Games has one near mint for $6 plus $5 shipping. And
Okay.
then it goes up to $13 for a lightly played copy from there.
Who posted that $36 copy? We're calling them out right here on the show.
There's
They're
no more
scalping.
near mints though. Oh wait, no, there's one. No, I'm wrong. Sorry.
I
There's a
thought
near
you
mint
said
for 14 and a near mint for 20.
I thought you said somebody posted a near mint copy for $36.
Yeah.
Who was it? Name them.
Event Horizon Hobbies,
You sons of bitches. What,
$36.
you're scalping.
Black Sun Games MDII near mint, $48.
Oh my God, you should be ashamed of yourself. You know that card's not
But
worth
props to
$48.
Black Swamp Games, $6 plus $5 shipping.
If you are in the market for a Grim Lavamancer,
Hurry.
original printing from Torment, click our affiliate link in the description below. Go to TCG Player. Buy that copy from, who is it?
Black Swamp Games. That's not
Black,
me, by the way.
that's not me either. We're not affiliated.
I wouldn't be selling it for $6. I'd be selling it for 20.
I'd be running it in my burn deck. I wouldn't be doing what Alex does. I don't be scalping you people.
That's true.
I'd be offering it for a fair price.
Yeah, I'd just be keeping it. I wouldn't be selling it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh yeah, some funny stuff going on with Grim Lavamancer there.
I didn't mention this for some other cards too, but I've noticed some other cards, some other pre-modern staples with this crazy spike that just happened in like the last month or so. I just didn't bring it up because I'm thinking maybe it's going to settle down, but
there's too many to cover all at once. Like there's a lot of other cards that.
This could turn into an Exalted Angel situation where it just keeps going up and all of a sudden it goes from $5 to $20. And that's just what they're going for all of a sudden, $20. Who knows? Grim Lavamancer, though, there are a lot of reprints. So it was reprinted and Dominator Remastered, which is a big deal. I see people run this copy a lot, actually, too. We mentioned earlier, Chris Cox, maybe run a borderless version. This is nice. This is nice. I like this borderless Grim Lavamancer. I see people play this.
I like the Torment version because he looks like a SpaghettiOs wizard.
That is funny. That is a bonus of running that version. What else is in Dominator Remastered? Icy Manipulator, Alex. That's how you know this set was made for old guys and gals. Kamal, Fist of Krosa, Lieutenant Kurtar. Mind Slicer. Mishra's Factory, Mindstone, Mystic Enforcer. Nantuko Monastery, Nantuko Shade. Nut Collector. This actually caused the price of Nut Collector to plummet. I think around this time, Nut Collector was ridiculously expensive considering how underplayed it is.
Oh yeah, this shit was $50 for a minute.
Market price. Yeah, not just average prices on TCG Player that people weren't paying. It went up to $50. It was selling for $50 for a brief period of time. And then it went down to $2, $3, courtesy of Dominator Remastered, I believe.
Wow.
There was also a run on all squirrel cards at this point, too. People were really into squirrels. And they became really into squirrels again later, but Nut Collectors didn't really benefit from that Bloomborough spike. But all this to say, there's a ton of great pre-modern staples available to you in Dominator Remastered. A ton of them. It just keeps going. I don't know how many cards were in Dominator Remastered, but 210 of them are pre-modern legal. Phantom Neshoba, Pacifism, Phyrexian, Rager. The next Jism Jin, Phyrexian, Scudda. That's it. In addition, Modern Horizons 3 was really big for pre-modern players. TBH. To be honest, Alex. The number of pre-modern legal cards printed in Dominator Remastered wasn't nearly as significant. But the cards that they chose to reprint were very exciting.
Yeah.
So in Dominator Remastered, you had the fetch lands reprinted. Bloodstained Mire, Flooded Strand, the other ones, Polluted Delta,
the others as well,
Wooded Foothills, and that other one, Windswept Heath.
And we have Manlands.
And we have Manlands. And in addition to that, the medallions were reprinted.
And the medallions.
So these are things that I wanted to pick up when I came to pre-modern. I was like, fuck yes, no dual lands. And then I thought, oh man, I found out about fetch lands. I was like, these are expensive. They're like
Also
50 to
expensive.
100 bucks, also expensive. Not nearly as bad as dual lands, but still, it was a lot. You want to play blue white, black blue, you're looking at playset of flooded strands and polluted deltas. Adds hundreds of dollars in cost to your deck. Now, often what I want to do is when a card is reprinted like this, I want to not buy the cheap reprint copy, but I want to wait for the original version to drop in price a little bit, which it usually does, and I pick up the more expensive first printing, but for a lower price. Uh, for the fetch lands, they're still pretty expensive, to be honest. That's really the take home message here. Flooded Strand. I'm going to pull this one up. The Flooded Strand from Onslaught, the current market price is $59.20. This is cheaper than its all-time high, which was about 100 bucks. It's come down almost 50%. That is significant, but still, it's going to cost you over $200 just to get yourself a playset of Flooded Strands. Thankfully, we have Modern Horizons 3. You can choose from these different modern, they have an old frame version, they have a modern frame version, and they have borderless versions. And they range from like $11 to 18 bucks. So it's much more reasonable to pick up your play sets of fetch lands. The same is true for Polluted Delta, Wooded Foothills, Bloodstained Mire, Windswept Heath. Windswept Heath is usually the cheapest one. So let me see what that's at right now. Or White Green gets no respect. Savannah's get no respect. Windswept Heath gets no respect. Current market price of Windswept Heath, the Onslaught version, is $38.20.
Okay.
Down from its all-time high of almost $90. So it's dropped more than 50%.
Not bad.
Now that's still pricey, but you can pick up a Modern Horizons Windswept Heath for
And
$9.04.
I love that borderless one. That's cool.
$8.86.
Extended art one.
That's not even the nicest. So this borderless one is pretty nice. Let me pull this one up. That's nice. It's okay. I don't like
Uh-huh.
it, to be honest. I'm
I like
changing
the
my
art.
mind. I don't like it.
Really?
I'm not a fan. But I will say there's this other one, this other borderless version for just like $2, $3 more that I like a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
This is really nice. 13 bucks. I'm into it.
Very reasonable.
Look at how windswept that heath
It
is.
looks,
That's the most windswept heath I've ever seen in my entire life.
all the words are accurate.
So, what's the take home message? Staples for pre-modern, or prices for pre-modern staples are rising in the old frame, but a lot of them are available in reprints. So it's still pretty easy to build a fairly budget pre-modern deck. In addition to that, I've talked about these cards that have gone up in price over this time period. Over the same period of time, there's original printings of other pre-modern cards that are well off their all-time highs. Things that people were super excited about 3 years ago, they've just kind of forgotten about. They're not being bought up at the same pace. So if you want an old frame playset of these, it's a good time. It's a good time to get in. And this is one that I'm finishing right now. I bought one Weathered Wayfarer years ago. I held off. And now it's much cheaper. The Onslaught Weathered Wayfarer can be picked up from market price of $4.32. It's been over 10 bucks before. It's come down more than 50%. It's
Mhm.
still a really good card. It's a card that people play in Terrageddon and some other decks. It's a card I've
I
thought about
think, has this
putting in
gone
my white
down
weenie.
because of land tax getting banned? Like, do you think
But
it's because it was like indexed also with that theme,
I don't
and now
know.
people are playing it less?
I don't know. I can't even remember when the land tax ban happened. Did it happen in late 2022? Like this started in late 2022. It started coming down.
Probably more recently than that. I feel like it wasn't that long ago.
I
A
just
year and a
answered the
half
question.
ago?
I'd answered and now I know why.
Oh,
It was reprinted in Double Masters 2022. I'd be
Okay.
shocked if that wasn't why. So this reprinting in Double Masters, some called it, led to a cratering in price of even the original. You can get your Weathered Waveforms for under $5 right now. So that's one example of a card that's cratered in price, even in the original printing version. Another one, Patriarch's Bidding. This is one I've been meaning to buy for a long time. It just keeps getting pushed down on the list. I should probably pick it up now before it gets too expensive. Patriarch's Bidding was once over $40. And then I believe this was also reprinted. Okay, reprinted in Modern Horizons 2. The price of the original came way down. You can now pick up the Onslaught version of Patriarch's Bidding for $7.02. It's three
Yeah, it might
colorless.
be a good time. Modern Horizons 2 is, that was a little while ago, so if it doesn't get reprinted immediately, it might start creeping back up.
Yeah, I don't think it's getting lower. I think probably the floor for this card is probably like $4 or $5 until
Hmm.
people stop playing Magic. It's three colorless, two black sorcery. Each player chooses a creature type. Each player returns all creature cards of a type chosen this way from his or her graveyard to play. Fun card. Well off its all-time highs. Alex, I asked if there were any cards that you knew of that were well off their all-time highs that you wanted to talk about.
I did. I think I mentioned two. One was Gemstone Mine, which you just mentioned a few minutes ago.
Gemstone
And it's
Mine, it
not
was,
like it wasn't that expensive to begin with, but it's down if you want the original printing of it.
yeah. Damn, this got up to almost $20 in 2019.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. I don't remember that even happening.
Well, we weren't paying attention back
Yeah,
then, but
I think I got my first one for $6 or something.
yeah, even in 2021, 2022, it was six, seven, $8.
Hmm.
Now the original Weatherlight version, $2, $3. And then Sneak Attack, card that I need to play with a little bit more.
And this
Fun to
was
play around.
Gemstone Mine was in Dominaria Remastered, so was this.
Yeah.
And Sneak Attack was also in Wilds of Eldraine, so it had two reprintings recently. And you can see it's just been, if you look at the Urza Saga version, it's just been moving down steadily for years.
2014. It's been a long-term loser for a decade.
Yeah.
It's like if you put all, it's like if it's the Intel stock of Urza's Saga's rares. If you went in all on Sneak Attack, you've just lost money over a 10-year period.
Yeah. But if you want one now,
Good time.
yeah.
Three colorless, one red enchantment. Pay one red, choose a creature card from your hand. Put that creature into play. The creature is unaffected by summoning sickness. At end of turn, sacrifice a creature. I hear people talk about this in Premodern. I think some people play around with it every once in a while. I think in general, the belief is that it's just it's not good enough to build around to build like a tier one deck around. But
Uh,
it's a fun card.
I
I'd
started
have
making a deck. I haven't really play tested it yet or tried it. Um, my initial impression so far is that like it's hard to get the sneak attacks out. You only have four of them, so you have to start playing like Enlightened Tutors or like
yeah,
other stuff to cheat out enchantments, I don't know. That's kind of what I was looking
Academy
at with
Reckoners.
it. But I like it. I don't want to give up. I'm going to keep messing around with that deck.
It's had its time in the sun before. Was it ever in any world championship decks? No. We haven't really made it up, in our dissection of competitive decks from the past. We haven't really even made it up to the Urza Saga
Yeah.
era yet. We'll find out. Sneak Attack, how often did it make it into top eights back in the day when it was first printed, if at all? And that's about it, Alex. That's really all I have. Really all I wanted to say about pre-modern price moves at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably more, and there will be more, but we're out of time.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, are we out of time though? No, we're not out of time. We have unlimited time, but I'm out of energy.
Energy, yes.
I will say, if you listened this far, let us know in the comments. Are there any price changes that have caught your eye recently? Are there any budget printings of pricey cards that you think are a good deal? Tell us. Tell me what I should be accumulating. Be like, Steve, this card was $50 back in 2022. Now it's $5. If you wanted to place it, you should pick it up now. I'll be like, thank you. I will heart your comment and I will say thank you. Then maybe I'll buy a playset on TCG Player using fpalooz MTG's affiliate link. Do you have
That
anything to
would be
say?
generous of you.
I'm a generous kind of guy.
Team player.
If you are listening and you have an affiliate link, let me know. Maybe I'll use your affiliate link sometimes. I'm open to using other affiliate links.
Trade
I,
it around.
I just don't know many people that have affiliate links through TCG Player, which is where I usually make my purchases. And fpalooz MTG makes really great content, but so do some other people. If the Cloud Goat Ranger had an affiliate link through TCG Player, I'd click his affiliate link sometimes. If the I Play Magic guy had a TCG Player affiliate link, I would click his affiliate link as well. Any other affiliate links I would click? Spike Colony, I'd click their affiliate link. Mike Flores has a different affiliate link through another company. I think the company he writes articles for or something. I never buy anything from them, so that's why I don't click his affiliate link. I get my stuff through TCG Player instead. It's just a different vendor. Just a different preferred vendor. Alex, you have anything to say to the listeners before we go? Perhaps words of wisdom. They don't have to be words of wisdom.
It's almost spring. Hold it together.
That's exciting.
Light at the end of the tunnel. Persevere.
I needed to hear that because I'm hoping spring will bring a decrease in the number of highly pathogenic avian influenza cases.
I'm hoping spring will bring a lot of things.
Which maybe, other people aren't worried about that, but I will say that it's causing me to work long hours. Well, just like a little bit of break from highly pathogenic avian influenza. I got a lot of other things to focus on. That's about all I have to say. Thanks for listening, everybody. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you in another week or two about another pre-modern topic.
Thank you.
I ain't gonna do this anymore. That's all for me. Goodbye.